What about it, YouTube? Okay, I want to jump in the mix on the Bitcoin thing with RawDog. So, if you are, I just heard someone say this, and I'm trying to follow the logic, so stay with me here. I just heard a guy say he was glad that Bitcoin is reaching all-time highs. And he's glad to see it go up because people are losing faith in the dollar. They're moving out of the dollar into Bitcoins. He says he likes that, it's good. That's what I just heard. So help me in the comments. RawDog, if you listen to me, I don't know if you like me or not anymore, but I like you, whatever. Someone try and explain this to me, please. Someone that's smarter than me. If a Bitcoin is priced in dollars and you have the choice to keep your dollar or buy a Bitcoin, how does it make sense that you're afraid to have the dollar, but you're excited to have the Bitcoin priced in dollars? Does that make any sense? Does that make any sense at all? Some of these people are like, again, dragging up this old Chicken Little nonsense about worthless fiat and worthless, dollars. If they're so worthless, why do they buy everything real that you need? If they're so worthless, why do they buy Bitcoins? If they're so worthless, like you want so bad to be right, all of you Chicken Littles, the gold bugs, the Bitcoiners, whoever, all of you Chicken Littles, you want to be right, that you bought into the right thing because the dollar was worthless. Now, the question is, these things that you're trading your dollars for, how does it help when they're priced in dollars? How does that help you? I'm not like a super good mathematician, but if I remember my times tables, something like a Bitcoin or whatever it is. So a Bitcoin in this example times worthless dollars equals what? What does that equal for you? What did you walk away with? And if this is all electronic and kind of imaginary in that respect too, isn't it? You're just trusting that someone is going to maintain this account for you and it's all going to be on the up and up always and no one's going to hack in and no one, these people can be trusted, and by golly, we have such a powerful force of surety behind our Bitcoin integrity that there's no way someone could cause you problems with this Bitcoin, right? But that's what you have. But then some of these same fringe conspiracy theorists or whatever, they're the same ones that would tell you that we got to watch out for EMPs or something. It's like, dude, your dollar is EMP proof. Your dollar is in dollars too. Did you know that? Your dollar is in dollars. And so if you're trying to get rid of these dollars, to buy something priced in dollars so that you can cause a panic or whatever, so that you can get this mass exodus out of dollars into whatever else, causing problems for the dollar, how is that not going to translate into the crap you bought with your dollar? It seems like complete simple bizarreness to me now. At one point I was caught up in the collect silver thing, but I'll be honest, I bought a boatload of dimes. Do you know why? Because it was like under this Ron Paul Chicken Little sky is falling here, You know, you better have hard money, you know. So I was caught up in that, and it was all about dimes because what are you going to do? You got to make change, right? So if I need bread, if I need something, and I bought a bunch of Eagles or whatever, is that going to help me, or is junk silver going to help me just as much? 90%. Hey, here's some dimes. So I did it with that idea in mind. This is like almost 20 years ago. I mean, for those of us in the 9/11 thing, I mean, we've had dang near 20 years of just, I mean, just amazing gaslighting, okay, that we've had to go through. We had to go through the nonsense of 9/11. That was like shock and awe, right? So even before that, I was listening to G. Gordon Liddy. I wasn't into Clinton. I was all about Ross Perot. I didn't trust the government. I knew about the Federal Reserve and how it worked. Well, I knew about how it worked enough to be confused and follow Ron Paul. I knew enough about it that usury was a scam, but nobody was mentioning that part. I knew enough about it. I just hadn't put all the pieces together yet. So I was easily led astray. I was all these grifter supposed patriot movements. You're easy pickings at that point, right? When you start to question, you're looking for answers, and here comes Ron Paul to tell you, oh, it's all about Ayn Rand and objectivism and buying gold and silver. I mean, he didn't really push Ayn Rand per se, but that idea, it's easy to see the connection between those philosophies. And anyway, so we have 9/11 shock and awe, where all of a sudden now it's just like, what? Are you kidding me? Inside job type, you know what I mean? Inside job, right? That was the thing. So, I mean, at that point, you're just under constant gaslighting. You're under constant gaslighting because you got a story that you want to tell, that you're passionate about, and you've got whoever it would be, media and everybody else mocking you, and tinfoil hat. And so we've been gaslighted, those of us who just can add two and two together, like 3 buildings, 2 planes, office fires, and aluminum against steel and concrete, how fast they came down. Something's wrong. I'm not going to tell you exactly what, but something's wrong. And so I'm one of those. And so then it's next thing is the hope and the prayer is wrong, Paul. And so we go through that. In the background, what are we going through culturally? New wave atheism. New wave atheism was strong going through the 2000s. Okay, all those books were being written by Dawkins and Hitchens, and you had Sam Harris. So there was this crowd of new atheists with their books mocking God, and so that was going in the background too. And who was coattailing on that and merging the movements together was your friend Zeitgeist. Peter, he's got 2 biblical names actually. Peter Joseph, right? I think that's it, Peter Joseph. And Zeitgeist, that was the merger of, oh, your 9/11 truth. Oh, guess what? Jesus was a myth and it's all baloney. Yeah, sure. And so you see how these grifter movements, and then at the same time you have Jordan Maxwell, you've got David Icke, you've got this, I'm going to forget, but there's you could grift all over the place. You could grift into Nephilim, you could grift into lizard people, you could grift into Jordan Maxwell had some good stuff on Blavatsky and how it tied into the New Age on the profane side, and how it tied into the secret societies on the esoteric side. So it wasn't all bad. See, same thing with David Icke, same thing with Alex Jones, same thing with all these people who get you to grift. At some point there's something that you can't deny, and you're like, yeah, okay, so you give them maybe too much trust and credibility, and you end up being whatever, flat earth or something, who knows where you might grift to, okay? But anyway, the that's what we've been through. We've been through so much gaslighting, and moving on from Ron Paul. Well, he split the vote, and not that the Rhino Republicans were going to be any good, but we get Globo Homo and his husband Michael, Big Mike Obama, right? So then the fight was, it was still beating down the atheists, and then it was beating down the Globo Homos, okay, and it was beaten down. I mean, there was how many grifter weirdos, like, what was it, Dafu or something by Molyneux, Steph-Bot, and somebody ended up committing suicide out of that deal. I mean, there was some grifting weirdness going on at the turn of the 2010s, right? So I'm moving forward in time. So, and you had some really weird, strange characters, like you think he's still around, even Monograph, and these other, like, I don't know who they were, just bullies, just internet, like, creepazoid bullies. And I mean, he was supposedly tied into some kind of arrest with pedophilia too, Monograph. If I'm saying something wrong, I'm sorry, Monograph. I'm trying to remember what I heard, and it could have been wrong, I don't know. But I know you were a weirdo and used to put paint on your face. You used to just creep everybody out. But, and it was all like, the white rabbit or the weird. They just had weird, and he ran that thing about the ghost something. Anyway, the wild, wild west of YouTube, that's where I chose to go with it. I chose to go with combating what I saw as a fraud, if it was anybody out there. So if I sniffed a rat with Alex Jones, then I attacked him my way on the internet. If I saw a rat with Colin Flaherty, I attacked him on the let's all hate black people crap. Okay? So now I've jumped around a little bit, but there's been all of this attempt, do you see? This attempt to get us divided racially and hating blacks thanks to Colin Flaherty. This attempt to get us mocked and derailed in the conversation by hanging too close to some gonzo guy like Alex Jones, who really jumped the shark when he kept leg humping on Charlie Sheen during his just total moral breakdown in public. Okay? So, if you hadn't figured out Alex Jones by then, you see what I'm saying? Even Mark Dice had turned away, but then there was some kind of a... Anyway, I'm just saying. Oh, and then there was Sandy Hooks, and there was the shootings, and there was this attempt to get people to, talk about gun crime and, take the responsibility away from the... Anyway, the hate speech, and then we had the grift where I got caught up. And it's not bad. It's not a bad grift. It's of all the grifts, it still hasn't been debunked, and that's the JQ grift, okay? But we were kind of distracted from the communism, okay? And I'm just going to end it here. I've talked about a grift. I've grifted from talking about BitCoin to talking about being gaslighted for 20 years, plus or minus, for whoever out there that can relate. And now we're at this point, and I'm just going to end it with this. Remember when I said that stuff might get shut down or turned off? There might be a darkness with certain communications. And also, it's interesting that the FCC had to remind everybody yesterday, I think it was, to make sure that they follow the law and broadcast emergencies. So, we'll see. I don't know. But I haven't given up hope. I haven't given up faith. Love Jesus, and God bless.